Afternoon, YouTube. Well, it is 90 degrees outside in this Lowe's parking lot, and it's 86 in the bus. I do have both fans going, but I don't have enough windows open right now. But that's what this is all about. All right, so this is the type of screen I've been using. I mean, it works. It's a sliding screen. I put a couple of screws on the end so it latches in to the tracks, but I don't trust it for driving down the road. I'm afraid what's going to happen is it's going to slide a little bit. It's going to flip out. It's going to take out somebody's windshield, and that would not be cool. So, thanks to one of my subscribers, Michael, who turned me on to Running Rabbit Films. The lady on that, she came up with a brilliant idea. All right, here's what she did. She took and put a piece of wood across, used the same little buttons, in longer screws, and made a screen to go in here. And this can go up. Hers, she said, would stay up. Mine didn't. So what I did was, because these knobs are to help raise and lower it, the screws were too long for that. The bolts that came with it, but not too long to just run through a couple of holes on either side. And this is not going to come down while I'm driving down the road. So from now on, I will be able to have all the windows that are left on the bus open, and hopefully it will stay a little bit cooler. And so this is pretty straightforward. These are 3.5 inches, so they only stick out about a little over a quarter of an inch on either side. I would have liked to have wider. If I had my, if I was still back and knew about this a year ago with the table saw, I would have ripped some cypress pieces like this, ripped them just the right size, and been beautiful. But I picked up this hemlock, which will look nice, and I picked up the original screws were only, on 1/2 inch. So I got ones that were 1.5 inches. So take up this 1/2 inch here and go in plenty far enough. So let me show you how I did the screens, how you put the screens together, and we'll get I'll replace this one over here, and then I'm gonna work down the rest of the bus. One thing to note is back here I don't have enough space for a full width, but I can cut, I've got a piece here that's a little bit shorter, and I'm going to trim off the bottom so it'll fit right on this side as well as the other side. It can stick out a little farther, it's not going to hurt it. And in the back, in the bathroom, where there's pretty tight spaces. So okay, making screens is easy, piece of cake. You need a piece of the extruded aluminum. You can get it in silver, you can get it in white, you can get it in brown. I chose silver, and it basically looks like this. I got 8-foot lengths, I think. No, 7-foot lengths, which was enough for me. My screens are 25 inches by 16 inches. You have to take into account these corner pieces. They come in packs of 4, and basically they just slide in. So you just slide it in there, slide that piece in there. And on the last piece, like that. You know, it's flexible, but that's before you put the screen on. I bought 36-inch wide, so I got plenty. Now the only special tool you need makes it easy is this little thing. It's got one wheel that's got sort of a groove in it, and one wheel that's the other way. That's for putting in the spline. You could do without it. I wouldn't recommend it because it will be a pain. Now, I start in the middle. You can start at a corner, but I always just feel that that's going to be a little bit weak. So I just go down there, and you take the side with the groove, push it down in, and just roll it down. I bought this one. I'm sure I'll find that one in a day or so. Alright, so when you get to a corner, you can bring it around. You can't really roll into the corner all that well. So what I do is I use a screwdriver, you know, or if I have a something a little blunter than that, I would use that. But a screwdriver works. So once you get the spline all the way around, you get a nice screens on. Don't worry if it does that. Take a little razor knife and very carefully run along right along the edge here. Trim the excess screen off. The latches on the windows are just shy of 6 inches in, so I'm coming in 6 inches. Put the knob right there and right there. Alright, so last step on this, because these are thinner than what's the space between that wood and the aluminum, using some of this rubber weather stripping. This stuff is about 1/4 of an inch thick. It's a little looser than I'd like. But this time of year, the selection of weather stripping is not real good. So I will, I may just replace this later. Be easy enough to do. Now, one thing I have to keep in mind is if I let this all the way down, the screen coming down, the top window is actually a little bit bigger than the bottom window. So this gets in the way of doing that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put a screw either side to keep this from going down too far. And you can see with the emergency window, it's even it's going to be even farther down, because when this is all the way up, or when this is all the way down, that's got to be high enough that I can be able to close it. So I got to raise that up, and we'll get this in place. Oh, this side is really tight, which is fine. Well, there we go. That one's tight enough that I don't think it's gonna come down when I'm driving. I'll still put the pins in anyway. Well, there we have it, YouTube. A elegant and brilliant way to put screens in your schoolie. I wish I'd thought of this, like I said, a year ago, but a tip of the hat to Running Rabbit Films and to Mike for passing on the information. Now finally I can have be able to have the screens open while I'm driving down the road, and hopefully the bus will cool off some. So, all right. See you next time, YouTube. Maybe summer's finally here.